Hi, I'm Mokhtar, and today I'm going to be working with Amanda from the Student Engagement and Career Development. She will be helping me with some tips on how to expand upon my experiences. Hey Amanda, I'm back again today.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good to see you again, Mokhtar.
Good to see you too. So Amanda, I wrote out all my list of experiences from my jobs. So what's my next step?
So now that you have your list of experiences, it's helpful to kind of look at those and see what stands out to you. What skills did you write down? These might be skills that you want to actually use and incorporate in your resume. Also, it's helpful to look for verbs. So if you wrote any verbs down, you might decide that you want to use those as you kind of start to create and write your resume. Why don't we look at one of your experiences that you wrote about?
Sure. Let's look at my job at Hollister.
Okay. Let's see. Looking at your role at Hollister, I noticed that a lot of your notes have to do with customers. So how exactly did you help customers? You mentioned kind of demonstrating that customers come first. So how did you do that? Tell me about that.
Well, everything I did there was for the customers at the end of the day. So first of all, I made sure that the store was welcoming by organizing the floor and keeping it clean.
Okay.
Second of all, I ensured that when the customer walked in, they were greeted nicely and felt welcome, like at home. I also introduced myself, and whatever purpose they came for, I helped them. I was there for them. I made sure they knew where to find me. And as I like fashion myself, I suggested some styling tips that I thought would look good on them.
Okay. That's helpful to kind of understand. So it sounds like you provided service, customer service in kind of all parts of the store. You mentioned kind of being there when they came in, and you're also helping with helping them pick things out, helping them with styling. And I mentioned earlier that it's important to focus on verbs, and you said made sure, that you made sure. So we can kind of start to turn this to the verb ensure and try to use that in your resume. What do you think that you doing this had an impact on?
Basically just their whole experience, so that they will come back eventually.
Okay, so you providing this customer service really helped to ensure that there were return customers. That's really important. Was it a busy store?
Yeah, actually, especially on weekends and holidays.
Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, so that helps because that can add a little bit of detail and some measurement to kind of what you're creating here. So now, thinking of these things, we can start to create a bullet point about how you provided customer service in a busy setting, and how you doing that helped to ensure that the guests had a positive overall experience. So your bullet point for your resume might look something like this. Your resume would say, provided customer service in a fast-paced environment to ensure a positive guest experience.
That actually sounded very professional.
It does, and it's really your true experience. This is what you did in the store and the impact that it had. So this is an accurate representation of your experience. So putting all of this together is a lot to remember, and it's helpful that there's a format you can follow that helps you do this, and it's called the APR format. So APR stands for action, project, or problem, and result. And as you're working through this, you want to start to think, when you're looking at your list of experiences, of what's the action that you took. Also think of the project or problem that you're working on. So if you think of, a lot of our work, we're all working on different problems. If you kind of think of the big picture of our work, that's one of the reasons why we're there, is to help solve a problem that might be in place or work on a particular project. And then think of the result, the impact that you had. So as you're creating these bullet points, that's what we call them on a resume, you want to create succinct sentences like we just did with your customer service experience. You also, if you're working with something that's happening currently, you speak in the present tense, versus if it's something that's from a previous role, you'd put it in the past tense. You also don't use I or me or my because it's your resume, so it's already known that it's about you. So you can kind of create these very succinct statements. They're not really sentences, they're succinct statements. And then as you go through and work through the APR, make sure that you really try to detail the result that you achieved, and using numbers to kind of show the scale of your work and measure your work. So from an employer's perspective, if we're looking at your resume and the bullet points that we've created your resume, I would know that there's a clear representation of the actions that you took. So you provided customer service in a fast-paced environment, and overall this ensured a positive guest experience. So the action and the project and the result is very clear. And then we took, you had that experience about putting together looks. That was one of the other notes you created. And we worked on that one to create another bullet point, appointed to create branded looks to enhance products visibility, which contributed to a 5% sales increase in 2017. This is really important. So that's a really defined result. So that's what I kind of mean when we're talking about results. You may not always have that exact result with a number, but where you can, adding that in, because that helps to kind of qualify your experience and show some measurement of what you did. So if I was an employer looking at your resume, I'd quickly see what your achievements were, and it would give me insight into what you might potentially contribute in another role.
Okay, I see. But going off what you say, what is the most important thing to include when writing using the APR approach?
So I think it's important to really just let the APR format kind of be your guide. Follow that, because that will definitely make it easier. Pick strong verbs to work with that do show action. So remember how you, in your original notes from your experiences, you had helped in a number of, you helped customers. You helped to do a number of things. So we took that and we turned that into provided, because that provided customer service. That kind of defined it a little more. Helped is great, but you want to kind of show how you helped. Another common one that I see is people will put responsible for. So really define, how were you accountable, or how were you responsible? What actions did you take? Did you delegate something, or lead or manage something, or implement something? So really picking the right action verb that can kind of show what you did. As far as the project or the problem, really trying to, this can be challenging, but you want to try to define it succinctly, but also be specific. So somebody can read it and know what you mean. And then probably another thing is really trying to add the result where possible. So I mentioned that there might not always be a result, but a lot of times if you really think about it, like I said, all of our work has an impact, and so really trying to put down what that result is where possible can help to focus on your achievements and can help to show how you might contribute to a new environment, and that's what an employer will want to see.
This actually has been super helpful.
Good. You're so
Appreciate
welcome.
it so much.
Absolutely, Mukhtar. I'm glad it's helpful.
Thank you so much again.
You're welcome. If you have questions or need help, visit us in LifeLab or find more information on our website.